Go look at your calendar. Pull it out, check it out, do it. Obviously, this week is slammed, but how about next? And the next, and the next. And when does the faucet actually cut off so that you actually have some time back on your hands and things just slow down? Well, I want to dive into that today and talk about a quick fix that you can implement in your day-to-day that can get you out of that chaos. Good morning, y'all. Thomas Joyner here with Business on Purpose. So grateful that you're joining and tuning in here for a little bit. So I saw a meme the other day and I just laughed, right? Because it kind of represents the way that we go through our week every single week. Here it is. Adulthood is saying, but after this week, things will slow down a bit over and over again until you die. Adulthood is saying, but after this week, things will slow down a bit over and over until you die. I couldn't help but just laugh and laugh and laugh at that, right? Because I can't tell you how many times I've actually said the same thing. Next week, it's going to be slower, right? Let's connect then. And if I'm not careful, I look up and it's Thursday afternoon and I'm wondering, where was that slower week that I talked about, right? What happened to it? I told everyone about it and it just got busy like the week before that and the week before that and the week before that. So is that you? Are you the person who at church or at your weekly golf match or whatever it is, when asked how you're doing, always tends to answer, I'm busy. How are you? I guess you just deserve a busy badge, right? Like, I guess no one else is busy and has figured out how to deal with it. But seriously, who isn't busy? We fill our weeks with a lot of things that matter and honestly, a lot of things that truly don't. So how do we take those weeks back and begin to own our time and get above the chaos of pretending like life is going to magically just slow down in the near future, right? Slower weeks on the horizon. No, we both know that that's just not true. I've got a secret for you here. It's not going to slow down unless you force it to, or unless you organize that business and chaos into something that makes a lot more sense. Here's another secret for you, and it starts with a weekly schedule. Now, I'm not talking about a calendar that tells you what you're going to do, right? I'm guessing all of you have that kind of highlights your calendar of the week and your appointments and all that stuff. What I'm talking about is a schedule, intentionally built out in advance of your week that tells it what it will look like. It's a plan. Same thing with any event, right? You build out a schedule of everything that needs to happen to make sure that you have enough time for it all. Your week really should be no different. It should be dictated, time-blocked event that takes place with margin for the surprises that are absolutely going to happen. We always say around here, chaos is not optional, but submitting to the chaos absolutely is. What that means is that chaos inevitably happens and something takes longer than it should have. There's a mistake on the job site. Supply chain gets backed up, gets wonky, and takes longer to get you than it should have. Yet having a plan in place helps you be able to respond to that chaos so you don't just collapse underneath it. So let's take a look at your week and build out your weekly schedule. Take 10 minutes, write down every big block of things you do every single week. Or if it's easier to look at the next 2 weeks to get an idea, that's great. Do you need multiple time blocks for job site visits or team training? Maybe it's estimating and invoicing or bookkeeping or email, you name it. And write down how much time you think you'll need to accomplish that task this week. If it's 2 hours, twice a week, write it down. Is it an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon every day for email? Great. What time best fits your schedule and when works best for you to be most alert and most on for those tasks? If you know you get interruptions and you're needed to be on with your team from 1 to 2, don't schedule time for estimating then and there, because it's going to take you 3 hours to get through your estimating if you have to come up for air every time somebody gets to you. Now, go through your list and begin adding to your weekly schedule. The reason we do this is so that you can be fully engaged in your task at hand. And I was just speaking to this. How many times have you been answering an email that really kind of took some thought and took you pricing something out? And the phone rings. Well, I just pick it up and I'll answer this one quick question. But while you're on the phone, your admin walks in and needs you to sign a few things and look over the schedule for the next week. All right, I'll just do that for her real quick. And by the time you get back to email, you have no idea where you were. So it takes you an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes to finish the email as you lost your entire train of thought. You lost your momentum and you lost your ability to accomplish deep work. It happens all day, every day, right? But a weekly schedule is different. It's sitting down to answer email and setting a timer if that helps, saying, I have an hour to do a deep dive and everything else can wait. There's very few emergencies that can't wait an hour. It's walking onto a job site and telling the crew, hey guys, I'm leaving at 11. So think through what you need from me today and get all your questions out. It's really amazing how efficient your team can be when they're forced to operate on your schedule. I think you'll be shocked really at how quickly you get tasks finished when you're not trying to multitask on 4 to 5 different things at once. Things get done more efficiently and you have more blocks with more margin in between to put out any fires that may pop up. And lastly, if you're anything like my client who started his weekly schedule a month ago, you'll start to get really good at it, right? To where you actually have more time because the things are getting done more efficiently and you realize, I've got 5, 8, 10 hours back of my week that I can actually do things that can grow the business, that can grow our team, that can dream and grow and think for the first time around some things instead of just responding to whatever's right in front of me. And here's the last thing I get asked all the time. Thomas, what if I fail at keeping this thing, right? I can only do it 80, 90% perfectly. And here's how I always respond. The purpose of this is to make a plan, because a plan that is tweaked is still a plan. Let the weekly schedule serve you. Don't serve your weekly schedule. Let it illuminate the areas that you need more training or the areas that may need a little bit less time each week, right? Or you need to update a process to get it done quicker. Review it every Friday for the next week so that you're ready to roll on Monday. Guys, this is powerful and freeing so that you never have to say that quote I started with today, right? That, next week will be a slower week, right? Because you've planned and you've bought that time for yourself. It's a big deal, y'all, and it's doable if you're willing to commit, try it, go back to the drawing board and tweak it when it's not working well, and find that weekly schedule that works for you. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for listening today.